and welcome to episode 157 of the Graceful Tangle podcast. I'm Amy Kate and I am so excited to be joining you guys today to chat about some things that I have been working on. I have finished a couple of projects. I am working on really mainly one super exciting project right now. And what else? I have a few books that I would love to share that I have been reading and enjoying so much over the last couple of weeks. So let's just go ahead and hop right into it. For some finished things. Okay, this first item honestly is not completely finished, but it is off the needles and all I have to do is weave in the ends and sew up a couple of things. So I'm calling it done, even though it's not quite done. Okay, so this is my Nurtured sweater by Andrea Mowry. I made this with Knitpicks Brava Sport. I forget what the colorway is called, but it's something like almond or something like that. But it's a really nice neutral. I am going to wear this so much in the fall and winter. I have a few specific outfits in mind that it is just going to be perfect with, and I am so excited about that. But yeah, super nice texture. All that is left to do, all of the knitting is done, which is why I'm calling it finished. But the way that it's constructed is from the bottom up, which is not something that I do a ton of. And I have to sew up the underarm holes because of that, and then like weave in a few other ends as well. I'm also going to block this, which I also have not done yet. I'm trying to decide if I want to sew up those things before I block it or after. I think probably before. So anyway, that is the last thing. I have knit a piece of my hair into it, shocker. But that is the last thing. I love knitting this so much. It was a pretty quick project overall. Went super smoothly, and like I said, I'm so excited to wear it. The only thing that I do not love is the short rows in this pattern. They are just not super intuitive in my opinion, which is they're perfectly written and fine. It's just my own preference. I also prefer German short row wrap and turn, or German short row, that method of short rows. That did not make sense, but I prefer that technique over wrap and turn style short rows. And this pattern used wrap and turn, which makes sense because of the stitch pattern. They're so hidden. I just don't enjoy that method very much. And then also maintaining this stitch pattern while working flat is not easy. Like, you really got to read your work to make sure that you are like knitting this half of the stitches correctly compared to this half of the stitches. It's just not the most enjoyable. However, at that same time, I was also like watching a movie with my siblings, I think, and two cats were trying to attack the project. So that could have played a factor as well. But besides that, super smooth project. Love this pattern so much. I could definitely see myself making another one. In terms of her patterns though, I really want to make the throwback cardigan, I think is what it's called, the like color work yoke one. I'm really itching to make that. So I think that's gonna have to happen here soon, but we'll see. That is my first finished object though. And then the second and final effort that I have this week is this little crochet flower bouquet that I finished up. So this was a pattern that I designed and a tutorial to go along with it, so I will link that down in the description box below. You can follow along with the YouTube tutorial on how to make the flowers themselves, the leaves, and then sewing those two things up or together, and then also how to attach the like stem, which is just made with floral wire, or you can find the PDF version of the pattern available in my Ravelry shop. So whatever floats your boat in that regard. But I love this so much. I'm having a hard time getting this one back in. There we go. I love this so much. It's just sitting on my shelf right now, adding a little bit of color to my room, and I love it. I used Mi Crochet animation yarn, those little mini sets for this. And I just love the color palette so much. I really enjoy working with that yarn, and it's perfect for this project. So yeah, I love it so much. It turned out great. It was so much fun to make too. Listen to like a really good podcast series while I was making that project, which was quite fun. Okay, in terms of works in progress, I only have one project to show and then a project that I'm hoping to start that I thought I would go ahead and talk about. So I have been itching to create, really just own, honestly, and I've decided to make it instead of just buy one. a like neutral colored cardigan that would be appropriate for even the summer, like right now. And so that is what I am doing. But this is also a design that I am hoping to release in the coming weeks as well. So this is going to be the Genesis cardigan. So the quote Genesis patterns is kind of a line that I have designed a good bit of patterns for along the way. So the Genesis Messy Bun Mini was the very first design that I ever published. So that's available. I have the beanie version of that, both worsted weight and bulky weight. A sock pattern, just like a few different ones, a cowl, I think. And this is going to be the cardigan version. So it is going so great so far. I have like half the body done and then one sleeve, and then I'm working on the other sleeve right now. I'm trying to make it as long as possible, but only use the amount of yarn that I purchased. So the way that I'm doing that is knitting both of the sleeves. Like I got to a stopping point at the body, and now I'm knitting both of the sleeves, and then when I finish that second sleeve, I'll just work until I don't have any more yarn left basically for the rest of the body. And it's gonna be perfect, I think. I'm so excited. Here's kind of a close-up of this stitch pattern. I just love it so much. I'm using Hobby Lobby's I Love This Cotton. My ball is under my whole pile here. In the color Parchment. So it is exactly how it's coming across on screen. It's like a super, super light gray. But it's going to match everything. It's 100% cotton, so it's a nice material for the summer months, but then of course it can also transition into fall. It's super drapey, which is exactly what I was going for. It's a worsted weight yarn, kind of a light worsted weight, but I'm using size 9 needles. So I've got a really loose gauge going, which has been made it go by faster also. And it just creates such a beautiful fabric. So I'm so excited for this. I'm hoping to finish it this week actually. So it will definitely be an FO by the next time I film, but I am just having so much fun with it. It's really mindless too, for the most part. I mean, I am designing it, and like I had to think about this first sleeve because I wasn't exactly sure how the decreases were going to work, because they're a little bit complicated with the stitch pattern, honestly, but it's going great. Like I said, I am hoping to release this pattern in the near-ish future, but math for a knitted garment is quite tricky, so I need a little bit of time for that, but it has been so much fun so far. And I'm so excited to finish it. Like I said, I'm hoping to finish that up this week. And then a project that I am hoping to start here soon, I want to make a fingering weight version of the crochet slipper socks. So that is a pattern that I released last year or the year before, I think, somewhere around there. It uses bulky weight yarn and a half double crochet stitch, and they're just meant to be like super cozy, slip-on socks, no heel, very little shaping, only for the toe, that you can wear in like the winter around the house, really slipper style. But I want to create kind of that same thing, but with thinner yarn and something that's more appropriate for the summer, or I don't know, slightly warmer months. I mean, they're still going to be warm, but just something a little bit different, really. And so I am trying to select yarn, and I'm in between these 3 options. So these are going to be crocheted, and I'm trying to keep that in mind because knitted socks look so much different than crochet socks for many reasons, but one of those is crochet uses so much more yarn. And so if you have like a self-striping yarn, it's not going to look the same, or I guess more like micro stripe yarn, it's not going to look the same crocheted versus knitted. And so I'm just trying to like factor that with these specific yarns, because if they are striping, I don't really want to use them for a crocheted project that's not going to feature it as well. So I don't know, I'm leaning, I don't know, I really don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards this one, but only kind of. I don't know, but it's a project that I'm hoping to start soon. You could vote down below maybe which yarn I should use. I really don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards this one, but I feel like they would make such cute knitted socks as well, and just the texture of this yarn, I know that I would really, really enjoy knitting with. So for that reason, I'm honestly considering this one, which would also look really nice. So I don't know, we'll see. I don't have the label for this one, but I know that it's Ruby and Roses. I just don't remember the colorway name. But this one is Ruby and Roses yarn in the colorway Window Box. It's so pretty, and then you can't really tell on the camera, but it has some stellina in it as well for sparkle, but I don't know. You might can see that just a little bit, but it's not showing up super well on the camera, I don't think. This one, I have no idea how to pronounce the name of anything, but this is what the label looks like. And then the colorway, I'm not even sure it says it. Oh, it does. I don't know how to say that word either. Gala, G-A-L-A-H, cockatoo. Gala cockatoo. I have no idea what that is supposed to mean, but it's super summery. It's got like lime green and hot pink and some purple and gray. I also think this one would be so cool knitted up. So I just don't know. I don't know which one to go with, but that is a project that I am hoping to start. I have a couple of other options, I guess, that I could pull from too. I want to use this one, but once again, I think I would just prefer it in knitted sock form. But now that I'm thinking about it, this could make some really cool crocheted socks too, as well, actually. I don't know. I'm thinking about it still, but that is a project that I am hoping to start here soon and then release the pattern for. It's going to be a super simple mindless pattern, which are my absolute favorite to both make and design. So excited to start that here soon. Let's jump into a couple of books. Let's talk about fiction ones first, because I kind of want to combine the like spiritual development type books along with devotional this week, just because it kind of makes sense to do it that way. The book that I am currently reading is called Magic Hour by Kristen Hanna. I adore Kristen Hanna's books. I have read a good number of them at this point. I've read The Nightingale, which is mentioned on the cover of this one. I've read The Women. I think that might have been my favorite one. What else? The Great Alone, Coming Home, or something like that, I think it was called. And then a few others. I know. The Great Alone was also really good. All of her books are like so sad and also so beautifully written, and just the character development is like unmatched. But this specific one is about, it's honestly really interesting. It's called Magic Hour, which is kind of taken from like what you could refer to as the golden hour or a magic hour in the day when like the sun is shining on everything. But basically it's about this girl who was found, this little girl, like she's 6, I think, was found in the woods. And then so it's about her being found. And then the 2 sisters. One sister is an officer, and the other sister is a child psychiatrist, but she was recently involved in a scandal. And so it's kind of those 2 sisters working together to help this child who they have called Alice. Kind of like Alice in Wonderland type of a context. Anyways, it's so good so far. Fully enjoying it. Like I said, I love all of Kristen Hanna's books, and I am actually going to be rereading The Nightingale very soon, because I just purchased it, but love it so much. And then a book that I'm going to be reading, again, fiction, here very soon after I finish this one, is going to be Rules of Civility by, I'm not 100% sure how to say his name, Amor Tolls, I think. I have read A Gentleman in Moscow and loved it. Do not recommend the show, but love the book. My dad has actually read the book as well, and so we've talked about it, which is so much fun. But I'm excited to read another book by him. I know very little about this one. It says, on the last night of 1937, 25-year-old Katie Content is in a second-rate Greenwich Village jazz bar when Tinker Gray, a handsome banker, happens to sit at the neighboring table. This chance encounter and its startling consequences propel her on a year-long journey toward the upper echelons of New York society, where she'll have little to rely upon other than embracing wit and her own brand of cool nerve. Very excited to read this. I just really like his writing style. So I'm excited to read another book by him. So those are the 2 current fiction books that I am very much enjoying currently. But I have also read a few really, really incredible like spiritual development books, nonfiction, if you will, this week that I thought I would share. The first 2 I have the physical copies of. The last one I do not. But And the first is That Sounds Fun by Annie F. Downs. I purchased this, and it's the first book that I've read by her. It is not the only book that she has written. I followed her on my social media for a while, listened to her podcast, but I had not read this book. Got it for a really good deal, and I absolutely loved it. It felt like just having a really long conversation with her. There was just so much that I could kind of connect to in a season of like singleness and wanting community but not quite having it yet, and just kind of those I don't know, struggles, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, but also intentionally seeking the beauty in the season of life. And she is further along in that season and older and wiser, and so it was really nice to just kind of hear her godly advice and input and learn to find the fun in things. Fun is not something that I am great at. I love working hard and doing fun things too, but it's just more natural for me to go into like work mode and get this done and not I want to do something fun mode. So anyway, this book kind of challenged that piece of me, but also I really need to find a hobby. I learned that through reading this book. I need to find an actual hobby, which I guess is reading. I mean, that counts. I don't know. Anyways, love this book though. I highly, highly recommend it. Really, no matter what season of life that you're in, but I don't know. It was so good, so good. And then I read Brave by Faith by Alistair Begg. I have read many of his books and listened to many of his podcasts and sermons. I've just learned so much from him. But this specific book is just about navigating this crazy, wild, fallen, hard world bravely by faith in Christ alone instead of ourselves. It kind of takes you through the story of Daniel and his life in Babylonian exile and how he completely trusted in God and had faith in him instead of giving in to everything that King Nebuchadnezzar said or everything that he was asked to do. He had firmly established specific lines that he wasn't going to cross, and through faith obeyed what God had told him and what God had previously said, and God just proved faithful and blessed him through that. And this book is kind of all around that, but then also how to apply Daniel's situation to today's culture, basically by seeking God above our circumstances instead of just putting ourselves in Daniel's shoes, for instance. But it was so good. I will link to this one down below if you want to check it out, because it is super inexpensive on the Truth for Life website, but highly recommend. And then the last book that I read kind of on a whim, I read it through Kindle, so I do not have the physical copy of it, but the thought that was like a really big takeaway from me personally. So the book is called Courageous by Tara Matson, I believe is correct. And it's kind of this whole curriculum, I think, that she has developed along with many other people, I'm sure, at this point. And the book is honestly written like for moms, raising young girls, honestly. However, being 23 myself, and I'm not a mom yet, but I was able to relate to so much of it, and I don't know, I just fully enjoyed it. But one of the things that she talked about is something that sounds a little bit cheesy, but I love the mindset or the heart behind it, and I think it's so important to view life this way. And I've also been just kind of coincidentally thinking about it a lot personally, and so it's just really applicable, I guess, to the season of life. But it's what she calls the maker mindset, and a quote from the book says, "How you believe the Creator views you will translate to what you prioritize in life." And then something that I wrote kind of underneath that in light of that quote is, "I am created with purpose by a God who sees me, loves me, and declares me worthy through Jesus." I've just been thinking a lot about how, you know, I want him to be made more and me to become less. And I want to magnify him through what I do and see him in the midst of my circumstances, above them and in spite of them, instead of just becoming so fixated on myself, if that makes sense. Or just, I don't know, instead of just trying to find him, I want to know him and love him and have the eyes to see him no matter what else is going on. Again, just him become more and me become less in my life, and actually live that out instead of just say that I believe it. And that's just kind of what this whole mindset that she shared talk about. So again, how you believe the Creator views you will translate to what you prioritize in life. And a big factor of that, of course, is we have to know how the Creator views us. And He views us as beloved and chosen, but also sinful and broken apart from His Son. And so we have to know the Son in order, we have to know Christ, we have to know Jesus and call upon His name in order to also learn to have the eyes to see ourselves how God sees us. And then therefore we can see others the way that God sees them, and actually outpour His love and compassion and be a window, our lives be a window for how He can be seen. So yeah, that's just something that I have thought a lot about over the past couple of weeks. I've like written on an index card and put it kind of above my desk so that I would hopefully read it often and actually remember to look above my work to read it. But I thought I would encourage you with that as well. I highly recommend that book. I recommend all of these books, honestly. And if you have any other book recommendations, please let me know down in the comments below, because I would love to read and enjoy them. I actually just renewed my Kindle Unlimited subscription for this month. I kind of go month by month. It's like $12. It's not expensive, but I don't want to have it if I'm not going to use it. And so I tend to like pay attention to Amazon and save a lot of books that I want to read, and then subscribe for a month and like read them all, and then pause it for a month and come back to it. I don't know, it's weird and random, but I've done it multiple times now. But I just renewed it. That's the whole point of all of this. I just renewed it, and I have lots of books that I want to read because of that. One of them is Garden City by John Mark Comer is on Kindle Unlimited right now, and I have read a couple of his books, and I'm very excited to read that one. So that's gonna be on the list here very soon. But anyways, I hope that you have enjoyed this episode. I hope it has brought some inspiration of things to make, or read, or anything in between. Again, please let me know what you are working on in the comments below. Let me know if you have a book that you're currently enjoying or one that you would love to recommend to me. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I would love it if you go ahead and do that. And you can check out all of my social media platforms down in the description box below, as well as links to my Etsy and Ravelry shops. Also, a side note, I have some like needle sets and crochet hooks that I am currently destashing for sale on Etsy right now. I will put that link to that section of my shop down below if you want to check those out, if anything that piques your interest. But I think that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again next time. Bye.